recent decades, the Asia-Pacific region has made great strides in reducing extreme poverty thanks to vibrant trade and investment. Income and opportunities have risen, driven by innovation and commitment, and women are helping to power this growth. Yet gaps remain on gender equality both in work and in society. The East Asian Pacific region has closed 2/3 of its economic gender gap so far. But to fully close the gap, it could take another 100 years. Closing gender gaps in work and society would add up to $4.5 trillion to the region. To accelerate this timeline, UN Women and the European Union launched We Empower Asia to catalyze business action towards gender equality and increase women's full and equal economic participation. In China, India, Indonesia, Malaysia, the Philippines, Thailand, and Vietnam, we work with companies, investors, workers, policymakers, civil society, and a wide range of stakeholders, focusing on 3 areas. First, we create an enabling business environment for women. Second, we promote women-owned businesses and gender-inclusive entrepreneurship. And third, we advance gender-inclusive business cultures through the Women's Empowerment Principles, or WEPs. The WEPs are 7 principles that guide companies to promote gender-equal corporate leadership, inclusive and safe workplaces, equal pay for work of equal value, gender-responsive supply chain, marketing and community advocacy practices, and transparency and accountability of business at large. As we strive to build a more inclusive future for all, join us, along with thousands of business leaders around the world who are now driving progress for women, turning their promises into reality, because gender equality is more than just a moral responsibility. It's also great for business.
Think about the impact of a signature. Think about the magnitude of a global movement. Think about the difference you can make and the power of transformative change. By signing the Women's Empowerment Principles, you can galvanize your shareholders and stakeholders to drive change in the workplace, marketplace, and community through a framework of 7 principles. Brought to you by UN Women and UN Global Compact, the Women's Empowerment Principles are a roadmap for business sustainability, innovation, and productivity. Businesses by the thousands and in every sector are becoming part of this world-changing movement to advance gender equality. Businesses that become models for attracting talent, entering new markets, serving their communities, and measurably improving the bottom line. Because gender equality means better business. Don't miss this moment to make a lasting impact on your employees, suppliers, customers, and investors. Join leading companies already on the journey to greater sustainability and growth. Commit to the Women's Empowerment Principles and make today your organization's signature moment.
Noon pa man, malaki na ang naging bahagi ng mga kababaihan sa lipunang Pilipino. Kaisa sila sa marubdob na paghahangad ng kalayaan ng ating lahi. Kabilang sila sa paglinang ng ating makulay na sining at mayamang kultura. Kasapi sila sa pagtataguyod ng mga adhikain ng kapwa mamamayan at sa pagtugon sa mga pangangailangan ng lipunan. Katuwang sila sa pagtuklas sa mga larangan ng agham at medisina. Kapanalig sila sa pagpapairal ng batas, karapatan at katarungan para sa lahat. Kabahagi sila sa paglilingkod sa bayan at sa pagpapanatili ng demokrasyang Pilipino. Sa paglipas ng panahon, hindi nagmaliw ang kanilang pag-ibig sa ating inang bayan. Mga kababayan, ito ang alay ng mga kababaihang Pilipino para sa bayan. Tumayo po tayong lahat at sabay-sabay nating awitin ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Kayang magiliw, pero sa silanganan, alam ng puso, sa dilim mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, guyot ka ng mag-ibig, sa manlulupin, di ka masisigil. Sa lahat ng tulog, sa sigaw at sa langit mong babang, may ginanang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang isang ng matawag mo'y kalupay na nagbiligid. Tuwing na araw ng kailan pa may madilig. Lumarang araw ng 100% buhay ay langit sa piling mo. Ang higaya na pag may makahamit, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Mylene Aviva, President of the Women's Business Council Philippines. I am a marketer. Gender-responsive marketplace and supply chain is the 4th installment out of 6 of the I Am Women, Women Are Learning series. With the onset of the uncertain times due to the pandemic, marketing plays a vital role for the recovery and sustainability of a business. I Am a Marketer session will affirm that women have a large influence on the economy, that women are major drivers of its growth and sustainability. According to the UN Global Compact, companies that focus on women's empowerment experience greater business success, and research shows that investing in women and girls can lead to increase in productivity, organizational effectiveness, return on investment, and higher consumer satisfaction. And a growing number of business leaders recognize the importance of women as leaders, consumers, entrepreneurs, workers, and caretakers. So they are adapting to their policies and programs and initiatives to create environments where women and girls thrive. For the sports enthusiast, monitoring the Filipino women triumphs in the Tokyo Olympics 2020, our very own Heidelin Diaz, the gold medalist in weightlifting 55 kilograms, was the first gold victory for the Philippines in 97 years. And Nesty Petesio won a silver medal. And we have yet to watch Yuka Saso, for the US Open Women's Champion 2020, and fellow Filipino golfer Bianca Pagdanganan, and their performance at the Tokyo Olympics 2020. And these women athletes brought glory to our country because business leaders, along with the Philippine Olympic Committee, invested on their sports training. To the men, the Filipino men athletes, I would like to also congratulate our bronze medalist, Carlo Paalam, for boxing, and also Yumir Marshall for boxing as well. Our speaker for today, thank you so much, is a good friend. She is Susie Quesada, the president of Ramar Food International USA from San Francisco, USA. She will be introduced promptly later on, but I just want to mention that she's a fellow 100 most influential Filipino women, just like our other speaker today, Chairwoman Sandy Montano and myself, and she is also a former president of the Filipino Women Network. Now to close, therefore, the business community has a stake in the responsibility for gender equality and women's empowerment. in the workplace, marketplace, and community, as I mentioned, and even in sports. Gender-responsive marketplace and supply chain may play an influential role in leveraging the power of capital markets to steer improvements in corporate culture, business environments that work for everyone, ultimately contributing to gender equality. I'd like to thank the members of the Women's Business Council, our chapter head, our moderators, our artists, and also our members who are supporting us today, and also our partners. We have the Department of Trade and Industry, Department of Science and Technology. We have Philippine Commission on Women, Indian Women in Enterprise, Philippine Business for Social Progress, Philippine Marketing Association, Association of Filipino Franchise Incorporated, and we have the Network of Enterprising Women. I see some of your members here. Hi, Tony, and the other private partner organizations. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us in the I Am Marketer Women Learning Series. And now may I introduce our next speaker who will be giving us the opening remarks. We are so blessed to have her. We're honored to have her. She is a registered nurse by profession, and she's currently the president and CEO of Community Health Education Emergency Rescue Services, or CHEERS Corporation, which provides trainings on emergency medical services conforming to the international standards on health and safety. Her awards and contributions are highly regarded both in the local and international arena. She's a former program coordinator of the Commission on Higher Education, or CHED, National Service Training Program, and also sat as a member of the Curriculum Development Expert Panel on Disaster Preparedness of the Department of Education. She earned a diploma in Food Safety Management and focus on food technology and processing from the University of the Philippines. She is currently the chairperson of the Philippine Commission on Women, the prime mover in government for women empowerment. We are so honored to have the chairperson, Sandra S. Montano. Let's give her a warm applause, please.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Sister Mylene. I miss you already. Ayan. Before officially starting with my message, allow me to greet empowered women behind the success of this webinar series. Women Biz Chairperson, Ms. Monet Iturralde Hamlin. Women Biz President, Ms. Mylene Abiva. Last night, we had the longest dinner searching for a restaurant who could accommodate us for a dining. But we had a fine dining in the house of a former PCW chairperson, Myrna Yao, who is also with us today. And we had a fine dining dinner with some wines, okay? And of course, the Women Biz Board of Trustees, congratulations for this webinar series. So the speakers will be talking on the topic, Gender Marketplace and Supply Chain. Ms. Susie Quesada. I met Susie a few times during our awarding in Filipino Women Network, 100 Most Influential Filipino Women in the World. She really rocks. Susie is an epitome of a very fine, beautiful, empowered entrepreneur women. She's also the president of Ramar Foods International, which is based in USA. And of course, our very own from Philippine Commission on Women, our Assistant Project Manager of Great Women Project, Ms. Carmen Lopez, Ms. Dana Maharocon, Ms. Cathy Torville, Ms. Jenny Havilosa, and all the rest of the participants and speakers, the attendees and the guests of this webinar. Good afternoon to all of you. I hope you are all safe and doing well in spite of the challenges brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic. So this morning, I was so busy going to the market, going to the groceries, and it's all full packed because we are anticipating, of course, with the ECQ, which will start tomorrow. I hope everybody is relaxed now. Don't panic. Anyway, the groceries will still be open. All the basic needs will be provided and open by the local stores in our areas in NCR. On behalf of the Philippine Commission on Women, I would like to thank the Women Business Council Philippines for allowing us to be part of this webinar. I am honored and truly grateful for the opportunity to express PCW support in venues of learning which highlights the role of women in the marketplace. Sa totoo lang po, ang pinakamagaling na mag-market talaga kay our women. Pagtabihin mo sila maya-maya, may negosyo na, may kwentuhan na, they talk about families, they talk about their passion, their hobbies, and most especially their entrepreneurial skills. So ganun po kagaling ang mga kababaihan. It is really high time to recognize the important role women play as corporate leaders and entrepreneurs. And I think we have all these good, empowered women entrepreneurs in Women Biz. From the Philippine Commission on Women, as the national machinery in promoting gender equality and women empowerment, recognizes that addressing the constraints of women's economic empowerment is fundamental to achieving lasting, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth, poverty reduction, food security, and gender equality. So kung naniniwala po kayo doon, let's go for it, because Women Biz and PCW is really in collaboration with all these things that we are doing right now as a mandate of the government. Okay. PCW very much welcomes webinars which will help in ameliorating the condition of women in the marketplace and supply chain. In the Gender Equality and Women's Empowerment Plan 2019-2025, we have identified gender issues in the trade, industry, and service sectors, such as difficulty of women to sustain and scale up their businesses, invisibility of women and gender concerns in foreign trade agreements, unlimited awareness among women of their consumer rights. We are hoping that through a webinar like this one, we will be able to inform a wider audience on gaps like this and address the same. The World Benchmarking Alliance developed a methodology comprising 7 measurement areas to identify and in turn finally close the gender gap in the supply chain. The 7 areas include governance and strategy, representation, compensation and benefits, health and well-being, violence and harassment, marketplace, and community. Governance and strategy refers to the senior management accountability in a company setting and to gender-responsive approaches. It also includes the gender mainstreaming efforts of a company. Representation refers to the gender equality in leadership and non-discrimination. Compensation and benefits, on the other hand, include living wage and family-friendly benefits. Health and well-being include safe and healthy work environment. Violence and harassment include its prevention and remediation. Marketplace, which we are discussing today, involves looking at the non-discriminatory marketing practices that the company has in place to ensure gender-responsive communications and engagement with its consumers to support gender equality and women's empowerment. And lastly, the community explores the extent to which a company actively supports the communities within and beyond its global footprint. By having a benchmark and a better understanding on the different issues in the supply chain, there is a higher possibility for us to come up with a holistic, integrated, and strategic approach in promoting women's empowerment in global value chains. We hope that this webinar will inspire its participants to develop a sense of responsibility in echoing what they have learned, and also for other institutions or private sectors to be inspired in emulating webinars which promotes gender equality in the supply chain and marketplace. To quote Ruth Bader Ginsburg, former U.S. Supreme Court Associate Justice, "Women belong in all places where decisions are being made. It shouldn't be that women are the exemption. Let us continue in promoting gender analysis and mainstreaming to come up with a gender equal society." Once again, congratulations, Women Biz, especially to the very active, passionate, and beautiful President, Sister Mylene Abiva, for making this webinar series happen. And thank you to the participants for taking the time to attend and learn from this webinar. Good afternoon, and may we have an insightful and meaningful discussions ahead of us. This is your chairperson from the Philippine Commission on Women, Sandy Sanchez Montano. Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat.
Thank you very much, Chair Sandy. So we
Thank
see each
you.
other again.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Chituan. Thank you.
Parang araw-araw na yata tayo nagkikita, Chair Sandy. But anyway, thank you
Yeah.
for gracing our webinar, our webinar this afternoon. Marami pong
Yes, thank you
salamat.
po. Thank you
So
po.
for this afternoon, I was tasked to moderate the first part of our event today. And the first part is sharing by resource persons on the topic of gender marketplace and supply chain. So there is a Q&A after the presentations of the two resource persons. The second part involves presentations of case studies by 3 Women Biz members on their experience on gender marketplace and supply chain. And this will be moderated by chapter lead Jeannie Havelosa. So our first speaker for this afternoon, I'd like to call Miss, well, she is probably about to sleep, but we asked her to stay up. She's actually zooming in from California. So Susie Quesada is a 3rd-generation owner and president of Ramar Foods International. As the #1 trusted Filipino food company, Ramar Foods manufactures authentic, high-quality tropical ice cream, lumpia, sausages that brings the flavor of the Philippines to supermarkets and restaurants. She serves on the advisory board of the Filipino Women's Network, supporting their mission for a Filipina leader in all industries. Susie holds a BA in Multicultural Literature and Education from UC Berkeley and is a Harvard Business School alumna from the Owner President Management Program, or OPM 51. Susie spends her free time reading, hiking, and traveling with her husband. They reside in the San Francisco Bay Area. Welcome, Susie. And I wanted to know, I think you wanted to play the video of your company first. Is that right?
My name is Susie Quesada, president of Ramar Foods International. Ramar Foods' purpose has always been to nourish our community while celebrating our family food legacy. We want you to know that your safety is our top concern. We will continue to take care of our employees to keep them safe so that we can keep helping your family to come together at the table during this difficult time. Let's keep taking care of each other, because together and only together will we get through this. Maraming salamat.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon or good evening, almost morning here in California. Can everyone hear me okay and see my
Yes.
screen?
We can hear you well.
Great. Thank you so much for the wonderful introduction and for having me here today. I'm very honored to be among this group of women, very inspiring. And hello, shout out to my FWN sisters, Mylene, Sandy, and Lorna. I'm sure there's a few others in the room.
Yeah, hi, sister. We miss you.
Hi, Susie. Seeing again. It's lovely.
Great to
Hi,
see you.
Susie.
So thank you for having me. I'm here to talk a little bit, give a perspective on what's going on here in the US and in the supply chain and how our company has been affected with this pandemic. I'm sorry to hear that there is another lockdown happening, but we have to do our part, of course, to make sure we keep everyone safe and stop the spread of this coronavirus. So my heart goes out to all of you, and we're thinking of you here in California. So at Ramar Foods, we make food, and some of the foods that we make are here in these pictures that I'm sharing now. And when I think about the supply chain and women in our supply chain, I think about the hands that touch these products. So think about when you go to the grocery store, when you can, when it's safe, or even e-commerce, and you think of your favorite food and how it's packaged and how it's presented at the supermarket level. There's so much that goes on to get it there. And I'll talk to you about our experiences and how we empower women to be a part of that supply chain to get products to you. So the first thing that we think about is the packaging. And I'm sure you'll hear from our marketing group in the room about how important it is to make sure that the packaging looks right and is constructed well so that the quality of the food or the quality of the product is sustainable. Our marketing is, I think we're about almost 75% women on our team, and we work with a lot of different advertising, PR firms that are also women owned. So how do we find them? Of course, through our networks, we find other companies that are also women owned or have like-minded values as we do at Ramar Foods, where we want to give opportunities for women and different cultures, races to have perspective and a voice at our company. So just think of the hands that touch all of these products to make the packaging. Then, of course, we need to make the product. And when making the product, again, these are the hands that make the product, and they make it with love and with care. So I'll just share with you some pictures and some stories of the women that help us create our product and help our community, especially through this pandemic. Food brings people together, whether we're in a Zoom room or at home or, FaceTiming with our loved ones. And that's what we try to do at Ramar Foods, is bring people together and support our community. So here are some of the women who make our product. And in the production, I have a breakdown later on that shows you the percentage of women that are in our production lines, making our product and making sure that it's safe and that it's the same authentic taste and flavor that we've created, and that the product gets to you safely. Aside from production, we also have our logistics, where we have to make sure that the product gets to the supermarket or the restaurant or to you via e-commerce safely. And here is actually our only woman in our logistics department. She's just hired last year, and all of our managers are part of this initiative. It is our diversity, equity, and inclusion initiative to make sure that when we hire, that we hire for diversity. And we're lucky here in California because we're a very diverse community, and we're working on things like when we look at resumes, we take the names off of resumes. We make sure there's no pictures on resumes so that the name of someone will not have any bias or not deter that manager from saying, oh, you know what, I really need someone who can lift 50 pounds. And they might not hire someone named Maria thinking, oh, maybe Maria can't lift 50 pounds. But of course, as Mylene mentioned, Heidelin Garcia taught us that women can lift a lot of pounds. And I'm so proud when I saw that we hired someone who is now driving our forklifts and lifting more than 50 pounds, helping our product get to the shelves. So here's our demographics at Ramar from a gender standpoint. We're 46% female and 54% male. And I did a breakdown of all of our departments, so you just kind of see where we're doing well and where we need to close the gap. I'm proud to say that our leadership team, our executive team, which is 8 people, is 50% women. And this is the team that not only runs their own departments, but they work and help me with the strategy of our company. We've been around for 51 years now, thanks to my grandmother who started the company in 1969. And we intend to stay around for another 51 years. So I need a very strong leadership team, and I want all the different perspectives on that team so that we can make the right choices for the company for long-term sustainability. And then there's a breakdown there for finance, not too bad, 75%. Our sales team could use a little bit more support with at 36%. Marketing's very strong at 73%. My entire HR team right now is actually swaying to the other side where we're 100% female. And then we have our QC team, also 83%. Again, production, we're at 36%. So there's work to be done there. And then in logistics, probably the toughest one at 5%. But I wanted to give you a
Susie, excuse
yes?
me.
Mhm.
Would you like to, because it's the image is kind of small, if you can click the full screen?
Sure.
Yeah.
Is it not on the full screen?
Yeah.
I'm seeing the full screen. I'm sorry. Let's see what I can do here. Can I
So we're
make it
actually
big?
seeing a lot, your desktop a bit.
Oh, you're seeing my desktop too.
Yeah.
Wow, I have all kinds of things going on, huh?
I know, but we're concentrating on the little thing, and I hope that you can make it the slideshow.
I have
Yeah,
this.
there you go. And then
There we go.
there we go. And then slideshow. Yeah.
So this is what happens when you don't make the tech run. Here we go. No, you don't want the presenter view. Escape.
There
that
you
better?
go. Much
Oh,
better.
thank you for
Thank
letting me
you.
know.
I
All
didn't
right.
want to interrupt, but we might miss the figures. So yeah, nice.
Right.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you. So here we are with the different percentages, so you can see them a little bit bigger. And again, we have work to do with some of our departments, but I think it's important that all of our departments are seeing our leadership team at 50% because that gives them that, it empowers them to know that they have people that they can look at who also, they can strive to be a leader at the company. And that's really what we're all about at Ramar Foods. And okay, there we go. Now we're going backwards. So one thing I want to talk about is also our raw materials. There we go. Here's my executive team. I'll go, and just so you can see them up close and personal. We really strive, again, not everybody gave me their pictures, so I just threw some pictures in there. As you can see, Ken, our plant manager, us as leaders at Ramar, it doesn't matter what our role is or what our title is, we get down and we help wherever help is needed. And I really am proud of my team for doing that. So some of us are from the Philippines, some of us, like myself, Filipina, but born in the US. And then we also have other cultures represented. And those cultures, we really want to reflect the rest of the people at our company so that they can strive and say, oh, I want to be like Antu, and I want to, I can do that. This is a picture of our sales team. We were lucky enough to do an outdoor gathering a few weeks ago. And it was just nice to finally get together after 16 months. Although now here also in California, the Delta variant is is showing, and we need to be very careful. So these are just a few pictures and a few stories of the teams that we have. My sales team is led by a woman. And so while we still have some growth in our sales team where we're at 36%, I think we also have 2 managers who are women, and it is my sales supervisors who are also women. So it's very exciting to see. We have a training program for our managers and supervisors. And this training program, we curated and cultivated just for them. Because the way that I see our growth at Ramar Foods is it's great to grow, right? As a business, we all want to grow. It's nice when we grow because it's great for when we talk to the bank and things like that, seeing our product on the shelf. But the most important thing for me about growth is when we grow, we can grow our people. And when we grow our people, then we're helping families and we're helping communities grow. So I like to think of our growth as growing people, growing product, growing the Filipino culture also here in the United States, so that everyone can try our food and get to know our culture. These are some of the resources that I might have talked about, but I'll go over as well. So I'm part of an organization called the Women's Presidents Organization. It's very similar to, I think, some of the organizations that you have in the Philippines. This is a global organization, and through that organization, I've been able to find suppliers. So not just how do we make the packaging, how do we make the product, but how can we make sure that there are other women businesses that are like-minded like ours that we can support? Because we know that as a woman-owned business that they're also thinking of these things that we're thinking about. And that's really important to me. So I have found our insurance broker through there. And then I've found some of our trucking companies who are women-owned to help us get the product from where we are in Northern California out to all across North America. I also mentioned our diversity, equity, and inclusion at work and how we're really taking a stance and a big initiative to make sure that this is something that we are focusing on, whether it be gender, whether it be culture, race, perspective, LGBTQ. It's something that we want to make sure people feel like they belong when they come to our company. And no matter what their background is, we know that they're going to bring us a new perspective and help us grow. I'd also like to quickly mention sponsorship, mentorship, and referrals. I think that as women, we have a big voice, whether we're running our own companies or we're working in other companies or organizations, that we can stand up and we can help by mentoring another woman, or we can help by sponsoring another woman, helping them succeed in their career and what their goals are. And then also referring other women businesses that we work with so that we can continue to grow again with those same values, the values that align with your organization or your firm, and empower women to continue to grow and develop. Lastly, I wanted to mention we're a strengths-based organization. So the 5 words there, learner, achiever, analytical, input, responsibility, is a program that we started over the last 2 years, and we've trained ambassadors. All of my strengths and engagement ambassadors are all women, and they have been tasked to support the company and find ways where we can make sure that we have actively engaged employees, because actively engaged employees will help you grow and develop. And These are my top five. Everyone at the company knows their top five, and we do extensive training, and we try to keep it really positive, right? There's always, what are your strengths? And then what are your weaknesses? But what we like to say is we lead with our strengths and we just manage our weaknesses by making sure that our teams are diverse, not only with strengths, but also with perspective. So in closing, I'd really like to thank you for having me. I'm so honored to be here and to share with you my experiences with our supply chain, how we've been able to empower women to get more involved to make sure that we can have those hands, whether it's for the packaging of our product or making our product or getting our product to you, that those hands are there, that those voices are heard. And I challenge you, I don't think I have to challenge this group, to use that voice, to use your hands and to speak up and help out where you can and help infuse women in your supply chain at your organization. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Susie. I know that it's very late, but if you can hang on for like 15 or 20 minutes, because we'll call you back in for the Q&A. So let's give Susie a round of applause, or you can give a heart or choose your reaction. You can give her a thumbs up. So our second speaker is somebody also quite familiar to me. She is a self-declared Filipina feminist. She's a nurse by profession. What's this about nurses at the PCW? She is a nurse by profession who has chosen the road less traveled by becoming a gender and development worker. She is currently the Assistant Project Manager of the Philippine Commission on Women's Great Women Project 2. CARMS has worked with various non-government organizations such as Gawad Kalinga and VSO International before joining PCW in 2018. She acquired her bachelor's degree from the University of Santo Tomas and finished her Master of Arts in Women and Development from the University of the Philippines, Diliman. In 2013, she was the youngest recipient of the ATOM or Atom Award, an award given to outstanding alumni of the Manila Science High School, the first science high school in the country. So ladies and some gentlemen, please welcome Carmen Roseli M. Lopez, otherwise known as Carms. Carms, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much, Ms. Chait. Of course, always familiar as we have been partners in implementing the Great Women Project. Good afternoon, magandang hapon po sa lahat. Thank you for being here. Mayong hapon, nimbag na malim. I know that the people here are coming from different parts of the country, and it seems from different parts of the world. You've met our chair, Chair Sandy, a while ago. So I will be sharing about the commission, our commission, Great Women Project 2. Allow me to share my screen right now. I hope it's visible. I'll try to project it full screen for everyone to see. Okay, so I would like to thank first and foremost the Women's Business Council Philippines, Miss Monet and Miss Mylene, for your continued support to the commission. Thank you so much. Thank you for this opportunity to share about our project. And I would also like to acknowledge our other partners, the UN Women, We Empower Asia, and of course, the Department of Trade and Industry. So for the next few minutes, I, of course, would be introducing to you what we are doing at the Great Women Project 2, and also how we define women's economic empowerment and how does it relate eventually to our topic for this afternoon. I am a marketer, or gender responsive marketplace and supply chain. So as mentioned, and as you have seen in the national anthem that played a while ago, our commission is tasked, no, in promoting the the Republic Act 9710, or the Magna Carta of Women. We are the national machinery for gender equality and women's empowerment in the country. And part of our rights, part of women's rights, is women's economic empowerment. So thankfully, we have the support of the government of Canada for this 5-year project, which was extended to this year. So we started out in 2015, and we are still implementing now, given the effects of COVID-19, and we will be ending implementation at the end of this year. So we are, the long name is the Supporting Women's Economic Empowerment in the Philippines Project, or WE Project, but we are also called the Great Women Project 2. There was a Great Women Project 1 in 2007 to 2013, but it had a different approach to supporting enterprises and creating an enabling environment for we. So how are we differentiated? So we are basically focused on this main goal, this ultimate outcome, which is to contribute to generation and inclusive growth. But to tell you frankly, it has been difficult. We had a monitoring recently, and we saw a huge 15% decline in employment of women micro enterprises. For your information, we are supporting about 800 plus women micro enterprises across 11 regions in the country in certain industries such as coffee, cacao, processed fruits and nuts, and homestyle and wearables. And across all these industries, they have been greatly affected by COVID-19. And I'm sure that the women businesses who are also here may have been affected in one way or another. So nevertheless, we continue to push forward in supporting women micro enterprises through two things. So improving the competitiveness and sustainability direct services implemented through our different partners. Also, it ranges from assistance in facilitating certification, product design and development, and at the same time, our main topic, it's about market access and expansion. We also have different assistance in terms of entrepreneurial management skills and other things that may support them at this point. So other than that, we, as part of the commission, we are very passionate about promoting gender responsiveness. So we promote a better, or we want to create an improved enabling environment for women's economic empowerment. We work with various partners, the Department of Trade, Department of Science and Technology, Department of Agriculture, and private sector partners. The EcoC Foundation, where Ms. Cheat is from, Bayan Academy, National Confederation of Cooperatives, and based in the Bicol region, the Socioeconomic Development Program, Multipurpose Cooperative. And our operations is not possible without the support of the regional technical working groups. Some of them are here joining us in this afternoon's meeting. So how do we actually promote women's economic empowerment? So economic empowerment is basically ensuring that women and men take part in economics, or take part, participate, contribute to the growth of a country's economy, and highlighting what women's economic empowerment can do. So in 2015, McKinsey Global Institute predicted that if women and men would take part in the economy, both at the same time, equally, the potential is to reach $12 trillion addition to the global GDP by 2025. Although that may have changed now because of the effects of the pandemic, but the truth is, as mentioned in the slides of UN Women a while ago, women's economic empowerment is about smart economics. It's not just morally responsible, not just being morally responsible, but it's about making good business, not just for ourselves, no, but for others as well. So to highlight, it entails two things. So the access to resources, the training, the work options or employment, and then the income capital. And at the same time, it also entails the power and agency, the decision-making power of the woman themselves. If the women are not, don't have time, don't spend time to attend the training, if they don't decide to go to the webinar, sign up, for example, if some of you did not show up today, then the lessons that you will learn would not have been transmitted to you, right? So it's about having that confidence to come up and to just really take part. So in essence, this is how the International Center for Women's Research says it, that it is a combination. It's not just the resources being made accessible and available, but it is about connecting that and then really reminding, reiterating, emphasizing to the women that they are invited to take part and that they should take part in this so they could become economically empowered. And in essence, if we is achieved, women can then have access to control over economic resources, opportunities, and not just that. This includes the different things. They can have decent jobs, humane working conditions, information. So knowing how to operate a Facebook account, knowing how to sell via Lazada or Shopee, and then access to different financial institutions. So having access to credit, how to access credit, how to get loans, such as that. And then, yeah, technology as well, equipment that could be of help to their businesses, right? And then training. And at the same time, our focus right now, market. So overall, a gender-responsive marketplace is about really gearing towards women's economic empowerment. And why are we talking about this and what does it mean? Gender responsiveness is well, it seems to be as simple as this. It is about understanding that women and men, or all types of genders, have different gender roles, and there are actually existing inequalities, which make it difficult sometimes for them to break barriers. So it entails a very important thing called which we call gender analysis to promote gender inclusiveness. And to share briefly, for those who would like to get copies of these slides, I would be very much willing to share them with you after this. So to share quickly what gender analysis means, it is about exploring the different experiences. Where is the woman in the value chain? Where is the woman in the marketplace? What is her role? What does she need to do across the value chain where she is working in? And in order to do that, in order to assess, to really promote a gender-responsive marketplace, one that considers the different genders, including women, we have to, may I suggest some of the things that we practice at the Great Women Project 2. And at the same time, these are advocacies also of the UN Women, We Empower Asia, or the those that are included in the Women's Empowerment Principles. First and foremost, study your supply chain. I believe that you are very much particular on how things are being run in your business. But right now, as what Ms. Susie has been able to share, she was able to describe where the women are. So are you already at that point? Are you already at this point that you know where the women are? In our experience, in the studies that we conducted with one of our, together with one of our partners, Bayan Academy, they actually looked at the gendered textile value chain. Where are the women in piña, in the production of piña textiles? Are they just in the production part? Are they in the processing? What is their role? More specifically, we also did it in coffee. Where are the women in coffee? If you are seeing my slide right now, you would notice that men, those in blue boxes, that's the role that men play in the coffee value chain. And then also the red one, the role of women. So there is a difference. Therefore, if they have different roles across the value chain, they have different needs. And in order for us to support them to become to have a gender responsive marketplace, it entails for us to know what their roles are so we can respond accordingly. So there are distinct roles across the value chain, and therefore we need to be responsive according to those. Another thing, involving women as workers and partners. To have a more gender responsive marketplace and supply chain, you have to have women. You have to have different genders to take part in it. What we have done in one of our efforts is to promote convergence. We had different enterprises engaged in home style and wearables. So what we did was to connect them with different designers, Filipino designers who have small, medium enterprises, and through those collaborations, it became a win-win. It promoted collaboration. So we were able to tie them up and to really come up with just amazing products. It was about the designers learning about culture, community work, and the different women micro enterprises learning about really connecting to the market that was available. Another thing is advocating for women's enterprises and ensuring supplier diversity. I'll breeze through this slide, but currently, thankfully, we have a partnership with the Regional Development Council in Region 2, and they came up with a resolution and joining their local government units, regional line agencies, to procure from women. So it was not an order, but it was just enjoining, encouraging them. So through that effort, gender responsive procurement, there has been increase in sales for the different WMEs, and they've also had access to capacity development and also to other things that could support them. And lastly, I think it is always crucial that the core of what we do is the promotion, protection, ensuring and fulfillment of women's rights. No harassment, no violence, no labor trafficking, no fair trade practice. I think all of these things could contribute to how we can build a gender responsive marketplace. And for that, it is about ensuring that the supply chain is not just a safe, but also an empowering space for all. So that is our experience and hope you learn from it. Thank you very much and have a good day.
Thank you very much, Carms. And so now I'd like to call on Susie, and we'll have a quick Q&A. I know that it's not a very good time for Susie because it's midnight, but I hope that she can still hang on, maybe have a cup of coffee. So we have some questions in the chat box. So people, can you just put it there? So Kathy Turville is asking, and I guess is directed to Carms, is the Great Women Project still accepting new projects?
Sadly, thank you, Kathy, for asking. Sadly, we have closed enrollment, but if you need to reach out to potential suppliers, we can work out in connecting you. So yeah, just email us. I will write our email address in the chat box.
Because these projects do have a lifespan, right, Carms, and they do have an end of project stage
Yeah.
and then waiting for another project to start. Thank you. Another one, I think it's also for you, Carms, because you picked our interest with that resolution from Region 2. Why can't, from Ms. Boots Garcia, why can't such a resolution be adopted nationwide? Can PCW recommend gender responsive procurement as a national policy? There are economic reasons for doing so. I'm sorry, she said, I want to ask this myself. I'm sorry, Boots. I saw it last. She's going to ask you, but let's hold it right there because I wanted to ask Susie. I'm very interested because in the United States, I'm aware that some companies do practice a certain percentage of their spend to go to women. Does your company experience this procurement policy benefit, Susie? Yeah, please.
Thanks for the question. So we don't have anything like that in California right now, but we do look at where our spend is going. Similarly to what Carmen was talking about, when we look at our supply chain, we try to see where are we spending that money, what communities is it going to, and can we have more representation for women?
Okay, but we have come across some groups called We Connect that are actually looking for women-owned companies such as yours, Susie. So I think you have more customers coming your way once they find out that, or maybe a lot of them know that Ramar is headed by a woman. So that should be a good opportunity for your company. So Carms, you want to, Ms. Boots, do you want to answer, do you want to ask it again after I erroneously read your question, Boots?
That's okay. I just wanted to just to react to is it Susie? Susie? Yeah.
Yes.
Susie's point. I just want to share that in fact we have in the Philippines an example in the company of Doris Ho. She just shared with us recently that she has adopted a policy where she has allocated a certain percentage of her procurement of goods and services deliberately from women-owned enterprises. So this is a private sector initiative, which we'd like other companies to emulate. Whether or not you're owned by a female, I think you have as much reason to purchase from women-owned businesses because they have the capability and the ability to do so. So I'm still wanting to hear what PCW has to say because this is an advocacy that I've been trying to work on for so many years, but because of regulatory constraints, etc., etc. But today is a good time to recommend it because women enterprises are suffering, So I'll end my commentary there.
Thank you, Boots. And Miss Attorney Lorna Kapunan wrote in the chat box, but she also wants to ask a live question. Yes, Attorney Kapunan, please unmute yourself.
I had two questions actually. The first one is in the chat group, which says, can you hear me? There's so much Asian hate there. Blaming the pandemic on us here in Asia, although we had nothing to do with it. We're suffering as well as the rest of the world. How is that affecting your markets? I mean, is there Asia phobia? People are no longer buying, or people are shooting everybody that looks Asian?
Susie, would you like to take that question?
Yeah, at the very beginning of the pandemic, a lot of the stores, because we serve mostly the Asian community with our products, a lot of the Asian stores were empty at the very beginning, right? So everywhere else there's a surge. Everyone needs toilet paper and they're hoarding all these different things. And in particular, one of the chains that we serve is a Chinese-owned chain, and people were scared to go in. That started to go away as people were looking for food, and that's where you could find it. And as the year progressed, when the rise of Asian hate crimes did start happening, we had a lot of scared employees. And so we did a series of trainings and leadership series on, what is the history of, unfortunately, that there's laws and, the Chinese Exclusion Act, the Filipino Exclusion Act, of excluding different races from participating in certain things. So we did a lot of training on the history side, and then also connecting them with resources. And we're very lucky to have organizations that were doing that so that they would feel safe going out. But it was pretty scary for a while. And I think it's still an underlying issue that needs to be addressed in our country.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Susie.
Thank you for that, Susie.
Thank you, attorney. And since we're pressed for time, you have the contacts of Carms and Susie, and I'm sure Women Biz can give us direct emails or contact numbers. So we'd like to ask the last question for this segment, and it comes from Maricel Narciso. Maricel, would you like to also ask it live?
Sure, okay. Susie, hi. I was very interested to hear about the bold move that your company made when you're assessing applicants, that you remove the pictures, the names. Normally people remove the birth dates and, the religion and stuff like that. But you actually remove pictures and you remove names. That's a pretty bold move. Can you tell us how you started that and how the journey's going?
Thanks for the question. I wish I came up with that idea myself. But I did realize over the year, as things were happening here with the Black Lives Matter movement and with the Asian hate crimes, that we decided to find an expert. So I brought a consultant in, and they did a full analysis on our HR practices. And then they're also doing trainings for our leadership team to help with just that unconscious bias that we all have.
Yes.
And that was one of their recommendations.
Excellent. Congratulations.
Very good. That's really bold. Thank you very much, Susie and Carms and Maricel. Thank you for the question. Now I'd like to call back our president, Mylene Abiva, and Chair Sandy Montano to give our certificates to our speakers. So the certificate of appreciation, Mylene, you're going to read it.
Oh, thank you very much, Chit. Great job. And yes, thank you so much, Susie, Sister Susie and Carmen, for giving us such an insightful talk today. The certificate of certification is presented to Susie Quesada as our speaker in the I Am Marketer Gender Responsive Marketplace and Supply Chain, given this day, August 5th, 2021. So let's give a big hand for Susie Quesada. Thank you. And for a photo, please. And thank you for staying up very late. I know we have a class tomorrow. And yes, thank you for honoring us with your presence and your wisdom. All right.
Big
For one
hand
photo,
and
please.
virtual hug
Yes.
for Sister Susie. Virtual hug and a
Okay.
big hand. Congratulations.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. And the next certificate. Thank you, Susie. Keep up the good work promoting the Philippines in California and the United States. And our next certificate of appreciation is presented to Carmen Roseli Lopez as our speaker for the I Am Marketer Gender Responsive Marketplace and Supply Chain. Thank you so much, Carmen. Okay.
Thank
for a
you so
picture, please.
much.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Carms. Miss Chick, hindi lahat ng nurses ay nasa frontliner ng PCW.
Akala ko nga it's a
Advocacy
requirement
Empowerment for Women.
Kaya pala wala ako sa PCW kasi
Alright.
hindi ako nurse.
Kailangan
at this
din ng
point-
lawyer dyan. Chairman Sandy.
Yes.
All right.
Attorney
Okay,
Lloyd,
at this
lawyers there.
point,
I'll
Volunteer
call
ako dyan.
you. Yes, definitely. Thank you
Alright.
so much.
Thank you. Okay, at this point, while we have PCW chair here on the call, may we please switch on our videos, everyone in this, everyone, please switch on your video so that we can have a picture, a group photo, please. Thank you. Okay, please switch on your videos, everyone. Okay, thank you. Okay, let's count. All right, Mr. Wax. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Smile. Next page. Okay. All right, next page. 1, 2, 3. Okay, switch on your videos. Okay. All right, 1, 2, 3. Hi, Rhoda. Hi. 1, 2, 3. Smile. Hello, DOST. Okay. Wait, one more. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Smile. Thank you. All right, let's proceed.
Okay, so the next part where I will introduce to you no other than my business partner and the chapter lead for this I Am Woman, Miss Jeannie Havelosa. Over to you, Jeannie.
Thank you very much, Chit. Am I on? It's okay.
Yes,
Sound
you are.
good? Okay, right. Thanks, Chit. So we had a great the first part of the conversation, and we're happy to note that government alongside private sector is so open to this, as we've been working together with our COSI Foundation also with Great Women and EcoStore. I have the pleasure to facilitate this coming chapter, which is the fourth in the series, and this is I Am the Marketer, or I Am a Marketer. And we've got three fantastic ladies who will be sharing their thoughts and insights. So in our consumer-oriented world, marketing plays a crucial role in the success of any brand or product. And while the drive for profitability may negate any gender-directed issue, this panel is where we want to highlight deeper questions we can ask ourselves as advocates for women economic empowerment. Let us keep in mind our own business models as we go through the panel with the following questions. How can we be gender inclusive in the marketplace as we sell our goods and our services? Can we choose to support women-owned businesses from sourcing to disposal, or encourage management decisions for gender inclusive distribution and selling? Can you make a stand for gender responsive marketing to support or enhance the dignity of women? And how do we communicate this advocacy within the company or external stakeholders? Let's keep those questions in mind. And any long-term strategy for all companies today is that of inclusion and gender diversity, specifically bringing in the female talent into the workforce and the supply chain. This panel, I Am Woman, I Am a Marketer, will hopefully give you some clear insights as shared by three of our case writers this afternoon. We have chosen diverse perspectives for two business owners in the service industry and a corporate manager working in a male-dominated logistics industry. Okay, so let's begin the panel. And so we'll call in our first speaker. I'd like to introduce her to you, Myren Garcia. Myren is a president of Myren Business Concepts, Inc. It is an events management company and business supply service. She's the founder and head of the Network for Enterprising Women, known with the acronym of NEW. She also has a 10-year experience in working with multinational banks as a specialist in management information systems, risk management, and global finance. Okay, Myren, over to you for your case study.
So I'm supposed to read the case study, right?
Yes.
Yes. Empower more women to go into business and become catalysts for change in national socio-economic development. This belief led me to establish and lead the Network for Enterprising Women, or NEW. This organization aims to give wholehearted support to both experienced and inspiring female entrepreneurs to succeed in their own businesses. With NEW, I hope to inspire generations of Filipinas and spread the word that the Filipina is, without a doubt, an equally capable and adept entrepreneur. One of our members in NEW is Coco Tamura. She joined when she was only in her mid-20s. She now owns 5 companies, one of which is Jenka Global OPC. It is an importer, exporter, trader, distributor, and wholesaler of wide variety of products. 3 women directors manage the company's administration and human resources, sales and marketing, and accounting and finance. A male director manages the logistics and warehousing. The logistics department is almost 90% men. Most of the most of the manpower is composed of drivers and delivery staff, roles that require physical strength and stamina. The 10% women are assigned to documentation and quality assurance, which require attention to detail commonly associated with women. Overall, the company almost has a 50-50 ratio of men and women employees. This can be attributed to its strong company policy of providing equal opportunities. In some cases, biological factors can hinder men and women to perform certain tasks, but the company balances it out by identifying roles that can be fulfilled by any gender. With the company's high regard for its equal opportunity policy, the HR ensures that talent sourcing is based on work experience. The HR conducts all initial interviews to create an evaluation summary based on credentials and qualifications. Age, sex, and marital status are secondary considerations. The company suppliers are 80% to 90% owned by men. There are certain instances when they receive some sexist remarks. It does have some impact on the company since 75% of its executives are young women. In some instances, when the women executives would be the ones to negotiate, the male suppliers and clients would still ask for someone else in authority. There is always an atmosphere of doubt. There's pressure for women executives to work extra hard and prove their worth, but they do what is necessary to represent their company. So that ends my case. Nawala.
Okay, thanks so much, Myron, for that one. We do have a time limit for this, so thanks for being very quick about it. Our next speaker is Dana Maharokon. Dana is the managing director of Lalamove. Just a minute. As Lalamove's managing director, she oversees a 24/7 on-demand delivery app that seamlessly connects users and drivers around the world to move things that matter. Before she was appointed as managing director, she served as the operations director during Lalamove's early days, focusing on day-to-day driver operations, which is the core of the company. Prior to Lalamove, Dana has been in other technology companies such as Groupon, Globe Telecom, and Mint of GCash. She holds a bachelor's degree in business management from the Ateneo de Manila University. Welcome, Dana. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Jeannie. Thank you, everyone, for having us here this afternoon. I'm very happy to be a part of this I am a woman, I am a marketer case study. So just to share to everyone the case study. All right. Promoting a gender-responsive environment and marketplace supply is a byproduct of inclusive leadership that is purposeful, calculated, and constantly centered in communication and decision-making. It is not as simple as having an equitable distribution of genders in key management roles, but also means ensuring that opportunities are equally created for all. This means having leaders take on a more active role in preparing their teams for the future, encouraging a budding female engineer to be more assertive and vocal about her ideas, putting a young business analyst in a position where she can express her recommendations and strategies in management meetings, and most especially challenging them to push the boundaries of social norms to be truly able to create an environment of inclusivity. While some companies have achieved building a gender-responsive environment, trickling down to marketplace supply, the reality is that most are still in the midst of building towards this. Keeping in mind at all times that how we truly build future leaders for our companies is also building future leaders for the country and the world allows us to have an immensely greater and bigger impact. Building a strong and inclusive culture within companies is the first step towards a wider scale equality movement. I have had the privilege of working with leaders and companies that have done exactly this, which had been foundational to the mindset that has been embedded in me. We create ripples. The greatest champions of my career have been men who encouraged me to rise and use my voice, amazing women who showed me how it's done, and organizations that never let gender be a barrier to growth. The people I've had the privilege of working with have been very purposeful with every action that they made to ensure that equality is continuously promoted, which ultimately has embedded a mission in me to continue this wherever I go. Every single person we touch will ultimately touch other lives. Therefore, it is our responsibility not just to be conscious about our actions, but also purposeful in our quest for inclusivity. One of the main objectives of being truly inclusive is ensuring that women are represented and given a stage to shine, and that there is equal and real opportunity for all. It is truly an honor and a privilege to be a part of an organization that is breaking what was considered to be a male driven industry, such as logistics and tech. This could not have possibly happened if not for inclusive leadership.
Thank you so much, Dana. Okay, so that was a corporate perspective. We'll take a look now at the perspective of an entrepreneur and a co-founder who is actually a co-founder of an industry, a wellness industry space. Our next speaker is Kathy Brillantes Turville, who is a co-founder for Nurture Wellness Village and Nurture Pharmacy. Kathy is a pioneer in the Philippine spa, wellness, and farm tourism industries. She and her husband, Mike, own Nurture Wellness Village, a wellness resort, and Nurture Pharmacy, a farm tourism destination. Kathy is internationally certified as a nutritional therapist, health and wellness coach, living foods educator, chef coach, and worksite wellness specialist. She is also a UK licensed CIBTAC therapist and culinary arts graduate. Kathy has been named as a woman of significance in entrepreneurship, outstanding woman entrepreneur, and a Filipino starpreneur. She is also the author of the book Turn Back Time, Natural Anti-Aging Choices, and is a frequent speaker in local and international conferences. Kathy Turville.
Thank you very much, Jeannie, and thank you very much for this honor to be part of this panel. I'm now going to share with you our story in Nurture Wellness Village. Nurture Wellness Village was born out of a personal desire to help women as they go through challenging periods of their lives. The notion of the wounded healer was a guiding principle as Nurture was born. From the beginning, Nurture sought to work with the women in the barangay, looking not for high-level education or skills, but for the innate attitude and warmth of the applicant. Because Nurture aims to provide only the best wellness experience to its guests, we prioritized hiring women, knowing that caring for others is inborn, that hospitality is a skill that does not need to be learned. Working with and discovering mothers in the barangay proved the notion correct. We supported and enhanced their innate caring nature with world-class spa and wellness training. Through monthly meetings, intensive training, and challenging assignments, we pushed them to discover skills that they did not know they had. We introduced the concept of the nurture woman, financially independent, hardworking, self-confident, professional, smart, and self-reliant. Most importantly, we let them know that we believed in them, maybe even more than they believed in themselves. We also actively encouraged them to practice a healthy lifestyle in their homes, knowing that the high cost of sickness can be catastrophic to their families. Monthly meetings became learning and experiential sessions with breathing exercises, Tai Chi, chair yoga being introduced among others. Soda and junk food were also highly discouraged. The results proved our confidence in them was well-founded, as evidenced by the positive guest feedback and recognition that Nurture has received through the years. Numerous testimonials from guests speak about the healing they have experienced at the hands of our nurturing therapists. Healing which brought about greater peace, joy, and balance in their lives. To quote a guest, "I was so lost and sought healing. I found my home in Nurture." Just as important, stories of our team members on how their lives have improved from working with Nurture has proven that being a Nurture woman is indeed a path to attain their dreams. Nurture also supports women through its sister company, Nurture Pharmacy. Its woman farmer, Atelina, is an invaluable resource with her knowledge of healing herbs. Its women managers led Nurture to attain the ANAHO Awards for Sustainable Practices. The Amadeo Organic Women Farmers Cooperative was deliberately chosen to supply additional herbs and vegetables to Nurture. With women currently comprising over 51% of our workforce and 90% of our managerial team, we continue with our advocacy to support women. Some challenges have emerged, like husbands who become threatened by their wives' success, but we are confident that our women will overcome these challenges because they are Nurture women, smart, financially independent, professional, and self-reliant. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kathy. Okay, let's move into a panel discussion. May I ask the tech group to bring the three speakers back with us here now? And for all those who might have questions, may I suggest you type it out in our chat box and we'll try to get to it. Okay, let's get rolling. So my first question is for Myron. Now you head NEW, which is an NGO organization, right, Myron? It's an NGO, aside from your own business. And this NGO focuses on women networking during this time, and definitely during COVID, it's really problematic, right? So how do you manage it with NEW, and do you think you can sustain this?
Because of the pandemic, NEW has been operating like a virtual organization. We keep in touch through group chats and Zoom meetings. Our priority now is to continue building relationships with our members. That's why we are practicing a buddy system. So each officer and director of NEW has assigned members to keep in touch with. In this way, we are able to continue to support each other and build relationships and to avoid personal depression. We hope, despite the challenges brought about by the pandemic, we can sustain and operate to run, since NEW has been operating for 15 years.
Any NGO right now is having such great difficulties, no? And even including those who have supply chains that are micro entrepreneurs. And that's Kathy, right? I mean, Kathy, we share this with EcoStore and Great Women. We work with micro entrepreneurs. So I just want to ask you that how do you benefit? How do you see this benefiting your as an entrepreneur in your own business, in being able to put a gender lens, because you specifically chose women? I mean, it was very clear in your paper, you chose women.
Yes.
So how do you think this is in the current wellness sector also?
Well, the wellness sector is a perfect fit, actually, because we all know that Filipinos are the most nurturing people in the world. And that's why Filipinas are so renowned all over the world as caregivers, as therapists, as nurses, as doctors even. Now, this is really perfect because in fact, we're really lucky because we didn't even have to break barriers. Maybe if there's any barrier that we had to break, it was with the husbands who had to allow their women, their wives, to work in an industry like spa, and that's what we had to work. But that's what we had to work on. However, in the current marketplace of the wellness sector, and we're talking about retail, we're talking about tourism, we're talking about spa, there's absolutely no problem, because actually women are perfect for these industries because they're naturally sociable, they're naturally nurturing, and of course the work ethic. If I may say so, I think we really believe that the work ethic of women is very strong. I don't want to say much stronger, but it's really strong. Because
especially the micro, no? The micro women. I mean, we've seen that in the work.
Yes, because of their women are used to juggling so many balls in the air. You have family life, you've got children, you've got work life. So women are just more forced, or are very comfortable juggling multiple roles. And I'd like to say, doing a very good job.
Doing a very good job, especially now during this pandemic.
Absolutely.
Okay, diametrically opposed to that perspective is where Dana is coming from, in a world that is totally different, right? Industries dominated by men. So Dana, let's hear from your experiences, not only in the present company, but in the other companies of tech, right? Logistics and tech, that really it's all about male domination in those industries. Now, how did you see any gender lensing in the supply chain?
I feel like it's a it may sound too convenient, right? But I have truly been very fortunate to have been a part of multiple companies that all had that were very purposeful about the concept of inclusivity is a term that gets thrown around so often, right? So I guess just to drive a little better perspective there, it's a difference of when you ask a question about whether or not someone can actually contribute, right? It's the difference between saying how can blank contribute versus how can blank cannot contribute because she is a woman, because she is young, right? It's about creating that stage for people to be able to grow. So, for example, I've been in companies where there is so much accommodation, understanding, and that's very very important, especially for working moms, right? A new mom, a first time mom at that, people normally deal with it in such a way that, okay, this is mandated by law, okay, this is what is due just because this is what is normal, this is what the law requires of us. But if you're part of a company that actually encourages new moms to be able to adapt to, let's say, a fully work from home setup, because the first 6 months, first year of being a mom is truly truly very difficult, right? That's being purposeful about the opportunities created, because now you're not discriminating because of the position that your colleague is in, right? And the same goes for the other side of the gender, right? New dads also need this kind of opportunity, right? But what I'm trying to say here is it's not about what this person can no longer do because of her gender, but rather what can we do to help this person continue to grow, right? Other examples there would be ensuring that pay scales are equitable and is based on roles, not based off of gender. I would say that the companies that I have been in the past couple of years have been extremely mindful of that, where regardless if you have been the tech and logistics industry, there are a lot of young people there, and normally you have to have been working for a particular number of years to be able to hit a particular pay scale. Similarly, if you're a woman and you're young, that makes it even more difficult, right? But being a part of companies that are extremely mindful of that and pay based off of your skills, pay based off of what you get to contribute and the level that you are entering into rather than the level of which you came from. That's being very purposeful about it.
I think it's great that within such a corporate space that you're there as a very strong spokesperson, because this angle would not really be an issue when it comes to co-founders of their own companies like Kathy, right, and Myron, because we already have it in the beginning since we began as entrepreneurs. But it's important for the voice within the industries of corporations that are often male dominated. Now I want to mention challenges because two of those papers, or at least we know this happens, right? And Kathy mentioned earlier about how the husbands of the empowered women felt threatened. So can you just say something more about it and what will you do about it, Kathy?
Okay, thank you, Jeannie. When we talk about the nurture woman, we also introduce to them the concept of the nurture man. What we like to do is to break stereotypes. We work in the province, so you can imagine the barangay, there's so many stereotypes about this man's supposed to do this and the woman's supposed to stay home and cook. But what we do is we say, hey, there's another reality, which is women have equal rights, are empowered. And the first thing we do to make sure that that there would be as little problems as possible would be, number one, because we work in the wellness and spa industry, we make sure that the husband is assured that nurture is a safe place to work. We have very strict standards. We make sure that everybody's very professional, and the husband knows that their wife is in good hands. To quote what somebody said earlier, we ensure decent jobs and a safe and empowering environment for women. So when the husband sees that, he says, okay, my wife is safe. Nothing's going to happen there. But at the same time, if the husband continues to be threatened because now the wife is earning more than than he is earning, and that can be quite threatening. So what we do is, again, labor laws, we cannot get involved with problems at home. We
That's
have to just focus on, is this affecting the performance of the woman in the job? But we need to ensure that the home life does not interfere with the performance. And what we do is we use that as a leverage to ensure husband behaves himself. Because woman is bringing home the bacon. She's bringing home a lot. And I'd like to say that our therapists are earning very well. So,
but like, do you have a program, an alternative program? I know you follow labor laws and everything, but like on the side, do you talk to the women and tell them how to deal with their, insecure men or something?
Absolutely.
But there's a lot of this happening around, right? Especially as women continue to be empowered.
True. Because we have to balance it. Like the nurture woman knows that she has to have a nurture man supporting her. So we describe the behavior of a nurture man. So when she comes home, she says, wait a minute, you're supposed to act this way. And in fairness, many of the men are just follow stereotypes and they don't realize that, is it okay for a man to carry the child? Is it okay for the man to wash dishes? When both are aware, then you have higher levels of, better levels of expectation, and their gender equality starts to happen. But again, if the man continues to be not a very nice person, we just encourage them, hey, you're a nurture woman, be professional. As Michelle Obama says, when they hit low, you hit high.
That's right.
So continue to bring home the bacon and show that, hey, treat me with dignity because I'm a woman of dignity.
What we've also seen through the micro entrepreneurs is that once they're empowered, the reason we need to empower them is that they must speak out for all these challenges and issues. Now, for example, in the corporate world, and I'm sure, Myron, you have so many women organization companies under you, no? First, my question to Dana and to Myron, is this the issue about the sexist remarks of men, especially for the young girls, right? In corporations, and young girls are always looking pretty and sexy and trying to work because that's what they are. They're empowered to do it, right? And then they get all these sexist remarks. So Myron, what do you do with your members in you about this? And Dana, please pick up and share your experiences about this with the tech and logistics companies.
To avoid this issue on sexist remarks, internally within the company, we can create and promote awareness through HR orientation for new hirees, and also through trainings on professional ethics. Externally, outside the company, this is more sensitive. Maybe we should advise our women employees to remain calm and strong and don't be emotional. If there is an opportunity to say that the remark is inappropriate, just say so in a non-emotional manner. Remember, as the Tagalog saying goes, ang asar talo,
Ang asar talo.
Yes.
Okay, but Myron, it's so nice because you're overseeing so many young women who are starting their companies, and so it's crucial that really you share, you talk about this, right? So Dana, what's your insight on this?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with Myron. It's very important that within the companies itself, this topic is constantly being talked about. The more this is talked about, the more it is acknowledged to be a reality, the more people are able to actually be more vocal about it. It's not just about us accepting that, hey, this is normal. The number of times I've been called Iha over the past few years, and the number of times I've been introduced as, Dana, a woman in logistics. There's a hint of sarcasm there, where you sort of get in a position where you want to talk about it, and you need to be able to talk to other people about it, because from their end as well, you'd be surprised as to how many people are actually itching to talk about it but don't have a channel to do so, right? So again, being purposeful in the company, constantly having those, whether it's a formal seminar or it's just your people operations or your HR team conducting a women empowerment session, to be able to encourage the women in the company, to be empowered, to be confident. The more confident women are, the less they get phased about those kinds of remarks. I would
Less
say,
it comes to them too, don't you think?
sorry.
And the less remarks come to those women who they can see are empowered.
Exactly. So so it's two things, right? The confidence and the feeling of being truly empowered that makes it affect you less, plus the fact that you are confident, you are empowered. People also see that and feel that too, and refrain are also more mindful of that, also more respectful of that. So the companies that I've been a part of have actually been extremely female dominated. The current company that I am in right now actually has 70% more women than we do have males there, and it's not just because we are encouraging more women to join the company, but rather because we do see and we do acknowledge that there are a lot of skills that women bring to the table, right? So you can
Okay.
never hear anyone say, "Iha,
No,
let's
I
do
love
this."
it. I love it that you're so vocal about it, Dana. So keep going up, and talk out. Make more programs within the companies you get into. Okay, powerhouse discussion from these empowered women. But because we have limited time, I would like to just go around the table and in a closing message, in a nutshell, okay, ladies, in a nutshell, something that will hit us and the brevity of it will keep it in our minds today. Please say your message as a closing for this panel. Who wants to start? Anybody can jump in.
In this, me start. In this time of pandemic, let us continue to build relationships and support each other, and also to have a continual education for us to be updated in technology, business trends, and also on diversity and inclusion. So be happy and be safe and healthy.
Okay, who's next?
All right.
Aki?
Okay. All right. This is this group is such a powerful group of women, and I'd like to say thank you for being for being part of it. But more than anything else, powerful women can change the world, and we can do it. There's so many ways we can do it: by being role models, by telling them that they don't have to put up with blank. and to just go for it and not be limited by dreams. And I think more than anything else, as women, as heads of our companies, we are in a position to impact lives, women's lives, and allowing them to know that we believe in them will go such a long way, because then they start to believe in themselves, and that's really what matters.
Thank you, Kathy. And Dana, for you?
I'd like to pull off a little bit from what we have in the case study now. We create ripples. Every single person we touch, every single person we interact with will ultimately touch other lives. So it is truly our responsibility, especially being women in power, to be not just conscious about the things that we do, but also very purposeful with the things that we do if we truly want to create a gender inclusive environment.
Thank you. So in a sentence, happy, empowered women create ripples to help other women to change the world. Thank you very much, our three panelists, for this discussion. Mylene?
Thank you very much to Myron, Dana, and Kathy, and of course to Jeannie, our chapter lead. And Jeannie will now share her learnings, but before that, I'd like to introduce her formally to our audience. She is a thought leader for culture, sustainability, and gender. She is an awarded artist with 21 woman exhibits, a writer awarded book author and speaker. She is a co-founder of Eco Store Sustainable Lifestyle, Great Women, and the Eon Group. Jeannie was an Asia Pacific finalist winner to the 2012 Cartier Women's Initiative Award in Paris, 2018 Go Negosyo Outstanding Women's Entrepreneur Awardee, 2018 Outstanding ASEAN Women Entrepreneur Awardee from Bangkok, and also for Great Women, she won the 2020 UN WEPS Philippines Champion Awards for 2 categories, and also a second runner-up in the Asia Pacific Regional Awards. Jeannie has a fine arts degree, magna cum laude, and outstanding leadership award in the Philippines, and a master's of fine arts from the University of Pennsylvania, USA. Our chapter lead who will be sharing with us the learnings for this chapter is Jeannie E. Havelosa. Take it
Thank
away,
you so
Jeannie.
much, Madam President. Allow me now to just summarize the learnings for this panel. First, it begins with purposeful leadership, a leadership that decides to act, integrating a gender lens through mapping out with due diligence each part of the company's supply chain. This includes equal hiring opportunities, purchasing from women-owned companies, and creating gender-friendly supplier codes of conduct. It may even look at enabling work environments and HR policies that need to be changed. Such internal practices will encourage and even inspire our business partners, customers, and other stakeholders to adopt the advocacy of supporting a gender-sensitive marketplace. This advocacy has been crucial for the Network of Enterprising Women, or NEW, where Myron, as a founding leader, set out to give wholehearted support to both experienced and aspiring women entrepreneurs to succeed in their businesses. This sets the ground for members to take on the gender lens, the gender-inclusive mindset from the get-go. The organization allows women to be heard and seen and enables them to influence their own internal systems and supply chains. Now, the common link for successful gender sensitivity and empowerment is that it must start from the top management, as in the case of Dana in Lala Move, or at the core by being the owner, as in the cases of Kathy of Nurture Wellness and the new member Coco Tamura of Jenka Global OPC, which Myron spoke about. In the hospitality service business of Nurture Spa, the owner prioritized hiring women employees because of their innate care, but they supported them with world-class skills. So you have to bring these two together to develop self-reliance and leadership. Management also chose women micro-entrepreneurs to be part of the supply chain. Doing inclusive business allows this woman to fully reap the financial, professional, and psychological benefits that continue to be a win-win for all. But Kathy shared that empowered women can be threats to their men at the home front when husbands become threatened by their wives' successes. While some companies have built a gender-sensitive environment trickling down into the marketplace supply, the reality is that most companies are still in the midst of the building process. Certain industries or even their departments are often considered male-driven, like logistics, transportation, technology, and construction. While there is a need for women to be seen and to rise in these industries and to take on more detailed-oriented positions, it is paralleled by needs for skills training and the watch for sexist remarks in a male-dominated sector. This inclusion principle must be the foundational mindset in building this leadership perspective. Women must be seen and represented in the supply chains with equal opportunity and supportive development programs for skills, financial, and management acumen. While it may be mentioned by our three panelists here, I would also like to add that the dignity and image of women in all marketing initiatives of the company must be respected. These strategies must all work together, and when communicated, must be done so internally and externally. Now, we have also approached the subject from a supply chain model, as this is the backbone of any company. Can we be gender inclusive in all the touch points of strategic planning to tactical management and operational levels of our supply chains? For companies to create real and lasting changes for women, they should adopt holistic approaches that should be tackling inequality at all levels. I also propose that we add a stakeholder relationship model as our products or services reach our consumers, strengthening our influence with our business partners and industry peers and regulators, media support, and the broader policy landscape. Beyond supply chains to stakeholder reach allows the advocacy of a gender-sensitive marketplace to be strengthened even more. So let us not only enable women's entry into the supply chain, but further influence our stakeholder reach. This way, we become economic drivers, powerful economic drivers. And this is how we help build a gender responsive marketplace. Thank you very much for that wrap up. And this ends our panel. I am woman, I am a marketer. And at this point, may I call on screen here our very hardworking tandem, our Women Biz Chair, Monette Hamlin, and our dynamic President, Mylene Abiva. Inviting also if we could have our Philippine Commission Chair, Sandy, and our trustee, Chit, for a photograph. Please join us for this last photo. Mylene, you have somebody ready to take the photo?
Okay, wait. Yes, all right. We have, okay, all right. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, one more. All right, done, there. Where's Chit is gone, yeah. Where's Chit? Okay, 1, 2, 3. All right, thank you.
Thank you
Okay,
very
Monette?
much. Yeah, thank you all. And that was an awesome session. Oh my goodness, I loved it. Thank you so much to the chapter lead, Jeannie, Galeng, to our case authors, Myren, Kathy, my love, Danny, Dan, and also to our earlier speakers and Chit. Thanks for pinch hitting for me, my darling. I love you. Just to close this, I'd like to just share with you a few things. First of all, it's very important for us to know that we will be asking for your feedback on this. Can we go to the next slide, please, Wax? Okay, as you all know, this is the 4th in a series of 6 sessions. So next week, it's going to be I Am Woman, I Am a Strategist, where we will be looking at corporate policy review and gender mainstreaming. And leading this particular session will be our beloved Evelyn Singson of the Dusitani group, no? And then the week after, the last one, but definitely not the least, is on Safe Space Act, Anti-Harassment Primer. It's called I Am Woman, I Am Safe, and it will be led by attorney Lorna Kapunan, our very fiery lawyer, member of Women Business Council, and a board member. Now, all of the learnings from all of these 6 sessions, the case authors, the learnings, all of these, the seminars, will be put together in an ebook called I Am Woman, a gender-responsive guide for business and corporate leaders. And that is going to come out by September 16. And so please, if you want a copy, because we're not going to have a lot of these copies for this book, make sure that you make a reservation already. There's a QR code there, but you can also indicate it in the evaluation form that we will have after this. Next page, please. We also want to remind you, the UN WEPS Awards, the 2021 WEPS Awards, it has been extended. August 9, that's a Monday. Make sure that you send in your entries. You could join Jeannie, for example, and Mylene, who are all past winners for the WEPS Awards. And finally, I would like to make a personal appeal to all of you to join MamaCon. And MamaCon is an interactive conference that we're going to have on 2 days, September 11 and September 18. And MamaCon is going to talk about conversations that we don't normally talk about. So like, what is a woman's worth, for example, the unpaid work that's going on. We're also going to have, if you will see the speaker on the leftmost wearing green, she is Mirella Sula. She is a very sought after speaker. She owns the Global Woman Club, which has in several different countries. And what she says is that if you want to empower a woman, just give her a mic. We need to give women voices. And she is one sterling example of a woman who was able to do that, who was born in Eastern Europe from a very faraway land. And she was able to get to this where she is now, a multi-billionaire, where she started by actually cleaning floors in London. We have a slew of different speakers that we will have. And in fact, Mylene, our president, is going to moderate one of the sessions, which is on mothers who are competitive, who want to make sure that their children are there and doing well. We have different topics that you're going to be quite interested in. For example, I saw your child online at night. So this is about security, making sure that you protect your children. Or are you turning into your mom because of the different ways by which women have cared for their children throughout the years? We're going to talk about the rainbow family. That's very interesting. What if nanay is really tatay and kuya is an ate? What happens in those things? So we're going to have Ice and Liza Seguera, for example, a power couple who will talk about their experiences as parents. And then we will also have the age of online mompreneurs. And this one is interesting because we have the top speaker, Wandalin Tan Kalupig, who is #1 on the top 100 most influential women, Filipino women on LinkedIn. In fact, Mylene is on that list as well, together with me and a lot more of our Women Biz members. Mom is the biggest cheerleader. It's mommy time. We're also going to have dealing with trauma. So Attorney Lorna, this is something that may be interesting for you, for the scars that are left behind for women, for example, who have been raped or who have faced violence. We're going to talk about love in time of COVID. Also how to plan and prepare for the best for the worst parts in your life, how to take care of blended families, raising a child during extraordinary times. So you have the QR code there on how you can sign up. Women Biz and Team Asia have a very special rate of only 750 pesos for Women Biz members who wish to join. And we are opening this up to your companies as well. So if you in your company wants to bring in your mommy employees to learn from this, please go ahead and avail of our special rate. Just sign up through Women Biz. And with that, we'd like to close today's session. We do have an evaluation form, which you can see there. Please click on that. We need to get your feedback so that we know how to make things better for all of the future webinars that we are going to hold. This is also where you can put in your order for the I Am Woman ebook. So maraming salamat everyone. Please continue to keep safe. Ciao.